I'm your host, Pastor Wendell Jeffrey, and this is URP Practical Talk. And thanks for joining. This segment is Talking Practically. The Diaspora made the APNU AFC coalition. They made it possible. Over the years, the coalition has received billions of dollars in funding from the overseas Guyanese. And many of the folks, Diaspora, returned home at their own expense to assist in making sure that the coalition worked. Over the years, over the next 2 years, the Diaspora is likely to prove the undoing of this coalition. The current administration has taken up residency in the proverbial bubble. They believe that because they are able to garner some attendees to their overseas events, that signals that they are loved by the Diaspora. I watched as Mr. Jack Dio made the same mistake when he was president. He flew to the US and to Canada, and he had these huge receptions of the Guyanese contingent. He too believed that the turnout signaled his victory. But you know, he lost the 2015 elections. It is safe to say, and I have concluded, that the local Guyanese politicians are either too narrow-minded or too crookish or too corrupt, or they're too simplistic to embrace the magnanimity of the thinking of the Diaspora. For 50 years, imagine, all the successive governments have failed to develop any substantial policies to harness the wealth, the education, or the manpower of the tens of thousands of Guyanese living abroad. And the reason is simple. The Guyanese kind of politics and the Guyanese politicians can only govern in a vacuum of pettiness and corruption and racism. Getting the average Guyanese politician to think outside of their repressive, dictatorial, myopic box is tantamount to pulling teeth. And that's talking practically. Doc, how you doing?
I'm doing fine.
I tell you, we have a shaking within the Diaspora, but we'll talk about that. We'll talk about that.
Well, I like when you bring up the Diaspora, what's happening overseas and so forth. It is very important for us to understand that people have to think differently right now.
Yeah.
Our two administration, present and past administration, hasn't been doing a very good job with that concern.
No.
Because what they do all the time is if the PPP won, you get only Indian people follow them. If the PNC APNU won, you get black people to follow them. And we've seen it clearly right here. Everybody in this government, since this government took over, most of the people, when you see a celebration somewhere, most of them is blacks.
Yeah.
Very few Indian. And it's very sad to know that we are all Guyanese, and these are the kind of things that are happening.
Yeah.
And the overseas people are peddling the same thing.
We don't have a crossover we've never had an administration that sought to bring the two races together.
The two major races.
With the two major races together. And you know, I anyhow, I'm going down a road that I will come back to that. We'll come back to that.
Yes.
Doc, recently there has been this constant drumbeat, and you've been talking about it, we've been discussing it, of fear. As you travel around, the Guyanese people seem to be timid with what is happening at the administrative level of the country right now. You know what I'm talking about.
Well,
explain what's happening.
We have seen that clearly since this new administration came into being, and also the past administration, not only this one, but the same attitude all of them are having. You know, if you don't go according to the party politics, you're out like sauce. You know, you have no place. There's no what you call democracy in this at all. It's either you come the party way, the party what's in government, either you go their way or you go nowhere. And this had been happening, and the fear had been put so much into these people. So anything what you tell them to do, they will have to do it. Anything, because there's so much of fear. And it's not only, this has not only happening with the businesses, the employee of the government.
Even when you're self-employed.
This is self-employed people. I went in Enmore the other day, and somebody come by my car, and we was telling them, and the guy is an ordinary guy. He said, Dr. Bandu, don't say those things. If then people hear me talk to you about these things and so forth, I'm in big trouble, right?
Wow.
So imagine the fear that this two political party had driven into these people. It's unbelievable.
The other thing that is helping to solidify the fear is this constant employment or re-employment of ex-army officials. When you talk to people on the street, they are trying to connect the dots, and they are wondering if the administration is not aligning itself on publicly positioning these army or ex-army officials so as to send a subliminal message that the citizens of Guyana need to be careful because we have these military people in place. You understand what I'm saying?
But
because that is what you're hearing too.
It's a shame to know that we have professional people out there who are qualified to occupy these jobs, but they are not having a chance to occupy. We talk about young people to come on board, to come and get involved. Instead of you try to employ the younger people with their degree and who have their knowledge and so forth, you take the retired people who are already retired, paying them also, and they get a pension also, and you leave these people outside young people had no job. So where are they going to turn to? And clearly we are seeing the President Granger is everything about army for him. What he's trying to do, make an army state. We can't have an army state. We have to come out of that. Everywhere you go in Guyana today, some head of department, army personnel. What really we doing? I can't understand what we are doing. I don't know if you place them in strategic position so that he can able to control everything, so he can able to rig this election. I don't know what he's trying to do, in this thing. And it's a shame that our young people left out, and older people who are already retired, who already have their money, they are benefiting everything, and the younger generation is left alone.
Doc, now what do you think? What do you think can be done to alleviate the fear you talk about? Like you said that this guy came to you and he wants to talk, but he's afraid that if people hear what he's saying, that there will be some reprisals and stuff like that. What do you think can be done to lessen that fear?
What we are doing here right now, we are trying to bring people together and let them understand that race does not put bread and butter on your table. It is a policy that puts it. And if we can able to try to get our message across, and of course we are doing it right now. We are on 2 channels in Berbice, 2 channels here, 1 in Essequibo every week, because we were denied of the NCN channel. We were denied of the channel 28, the Dr. Ramroop channel. And those 2 channels had the biggest coverage. And we are denied of all them because one aligned themselves with PPP and one aligned themselves with the government. So they control. So now our cost in doing all these things has become 4 times the amount of money that we are spending right now, in TV programs. So we have to understand, and we are, little by little, we are getting across this message to our people, that, look, we can't live this way, brother.
Correct.
We all are Guyanese. I want to see Guyana. When you ask a Guyanese outside, you mustn't say, I'm Indo-Guyanese and I'm Afro-Guyanese. Because when you talk about Indo and Afro, then you talk about race.
Correct.
I want you to hear you say, I'm a Guyanese proudly, yes, like the Trinidad, if they go anywhere, yes, any part of the world, you ask a Trinidad, where are you from? I'm a Trini, buddy.
Exactly.
Why can't you say I'm a Guyanese? Yeah. This land here, we born on this land. This land had become our motherland. This land had given us breath, give us strength, give us everything. Mm-hmm. And we should be proud of it. You know, we should be proud to hoist our Guyana flags at overseas, at all homes. Correct. You know, and those are the things that I would love to see, and that's what the URP are striving towards. That hearing that we are Guyanese, we are nothing but Guyanese. We are not Indo-Guyanese and Afro-Guyanese and Amerindian Guyanese. We are Guyanese. Beautiful. You know, and that's all what we want. Beautiful. And that's what the URP working towards. And I hope that our viewers are putting this in their mind, you know, because my friends, race will not take us nowhere. Over 50 years, it has been proven as a failure. And if it continue proving as a failure, we are not going nowhere, you know. So the time has come for Guyanese, for us all to come together and show these two major political parties that you can't fool us anymore. You have fooled us enough. Both sides of the fence have fooled us enough. When the campaign bell rang, they will go and they will make so many promises. Yes, sir. And I want to know, what are they promising? They are promising things what is already yours. Everything they promise you is yours. Whatever they do for the people, not they did it, they're paid to do it. You know? Correct. So all the resource in Guyana, all things that my government, I'm saying this over and over, it belongs to you, the people. It belongs to all of us. Correct. So you can't give us nothing. Everything that what you're promising us is ours already.
The bait and switch.
You know? So where are we going? So, Pastor, it's time enough for we call on our people to wake up. It's time to wake up. You know, as I talk about dead fish and living fish, be a living fish.
Swim against
the tide. Swim against the tide. Don't swim with the tide. You know, 50 odd years you swimming with this tide. How long will you keep on swimming? You have brought forth your children in this country. They didn't ask you to come, and it is your responsibility to give them guidance. You don't want them to go through this thing that we are going through here. We don't want our children to look at each other with anger and misery and vexation and all these things. Correct. We want you to look at each other with love. We are all one family in this country. Don't matter what race you are, we must be one family. We are talking all the time. The government are talking about one nation, one nation, one destiny. But we only are saying it a lip say. We are not that. It's only a lip say we are saying it. But those who are saying are real hypocrite because they are not living to it. You know. So we have to come out of this box, and we have to live according to what we are saying to people. You know, we cannot live this way, Pastor.
You know, Doc, you're so passionate, and I leave you when you talk because you have been around. You are a respectable, honest, well-accomplished businessman. And you've seen both sides of the fence because you were born there in Berbice and you grew up in a predominantly Indian community.
No, I born in West Coast.
West Coast,
yes.
But you lived some time in Berbice.
Yeah.
And you lived in predominantly Indian communities, and then you've traveled and you've lived in white communities and black communities, and so you bring a perspective to the table that a lot of people do not have because you've lived overseas so many years. And so when you speak the honest Guyanese would respect what you're saying because they could understand what you're saying. At your age, with the access to money and to material stuff, for you to come and be pleading for Guyanese to come together, it resonates well with even a young person like me, because I have seen a divided Guyana and how it affects us negatively. So I'm glad that you address it, and I like the passion. And I want to know how you're not hearing sufficient people like you, Doc. How you seem to be one of the few people who speak like this. Why is that so?
Because of fear. Because of fear. Fear is driven in so many people. You know, they don't know how to come out and say something. Look, you know, they got a saying that said, a coward die many times. The brave only die once. You know, I am not afraid of death. Every day people are telling me, you got to be careful. Don't you have security? You walk in here, you going there. I am not afraid of anything, Pastor.
When they tell you need to be careful, what are they really saying?
They're feeling because of the thing that I'm saying. You know, in the public and going
what are
all
they afraid that
having
would
me.
happen?
They're afraid that they'll probably assassinate me or kill me or something like that. But let me tell you, I am not afraid of nothing. Sometimes 2 o'clock in the morning, I alone drive somewhere in this country. You know, all by Stung and so forth. That's my route I drive every day. And in middle night, I'll drive there, come. And sometimes people are, man, aren't you scared to come through these areas?
But does it ever, as a human though, does it ever dawn on you that is it that you're afraid that nothing will happen, or is it that you don't care if anything happens?
No.
Which is it?
I'm not afraid if anything happens. I never feel cowardness or fear in me when I'm going through these areas with other races. Remember, I actually, a good part of my life, I actually grew up in Denham still.
Okay.
When my mom was living there, so I used to have to go there all the time, you know. Okay. And I actually grew up. So I am not afraid. I was in a scout troop. I was actually one of the only Indian guy when I started the scout troop.
Okay, you some paramilitary training.
Yeah, in the Amstel, because we had a scout master named Lambert William. He was from the army.
Okay.
You know, the GDF.
Okay.
And we were there, but I was never afraid of nothing because nothing there to worry me. I'm not afraid. I'm not afraid of death. You know, okay. I know I don't have nothing to look over my shoulder, Pastor. I'm not lying to people. I'm not misleading people. Whatever I'm doing here, I'm doing from my heart.
But isn't it a sad thing, Doc? Yeah. Because of course I hear the same thing too. I have people, you know, who call me from overseas and all kind of thing. They say, "Why were you doing? You're afraid." Isn't it a shame? It's almost a shame. It's ridiculous that the notion in Guyana is that if you get involved in holding any administration critical, if you hold them to their promises, if you talk about things that they have done, that automatically places you in a position for you to be hurt or even killed. What has Guyana? Why is that in Guyana? I mean, in Barbados, in these countries, you can speak freely. Why we in Guyana think that you gotta be afraid that somebody can kill you and shoot you and beat you and throw filth in your face and damage your vehicle?
Because remember something, that these political party, people from the political party, they go in and threaten people. You know, that you do this, you'll get hurt. You do that, you'll get hurt. People from the political party had been doing, on both sides of the fence, been telling people that. So now, if you are a neutral person, and let us say you got a PNC supporter one side of your neighbor, and PPP supporter the next side, and URP has a meeting there, you are afraid to come.
Right.
Because you fear that the fear in your mind, you know, them guys just going to insult me if I go there. You know, They don't want you to go and listen, to know what is really happening. All what they want to know. If you go there, you will support supporting the URP.
Just if you go to listen, eh?
But you go there because you want to learn something. You want to learn something what the URP is talking about.
Correct.
Right? I am encouraging our people, URP people, if you hear PPP have a meeting, but go and listen to them. If you hear your APNU or PLC got a meeting, listen to them. Yeah. Only then you will know
Correct.
that what you are getting involved in.
Correct.
Correct. We must not stay away. Correct. And not everybody who go listen to a meeting mean they're supporting you. Correct. But they're going to educate themselves. Correct. Look, today, when you have majority places you go and you have a meeting, people going to stay at their house, their window, their door, and they ain't coming out in the street. If they come out in the street at the public meeting, they will stay distant from you. They ain't coming near you, right? They stay distant because they don't want nobody to point their finger to them. The two other political party people.
It's so sad.
It's very sad.
It's so sad because I see it. You go there and you see people and they want to hear, they want to know. If they see a camera, they hide in the face because they're afraid that they might go on TV or they'll go in the newspaper because they don't want to be guilty by association. It's a real sad situation.
But throughout the country, the same thing happening. Throughout the country, and as I said, this racism is peddling mostly in the cities, the town, what we call town.
Okay.
Like Georgetown, New Amsterdam, Linden, in Essecubo we have Anna Regina. These are the places the racism are creating. And who are causing it? Is the PPP and the PNC people.
They for me, and I guess it would never be done, it would be nice if the two parties would address this racism thing head on. What do I mean? I mean, President Granger should come out and speak directly to the issue. Jack Dio should come out and speak directly to the issue. He should tell his supporters, do not vote race. And they should come out and just beat up this racism thing. They could do it.
No.
Can they not do it?
Yeah, but why would they do it?
Because it makes sense.
No, but it makes sense to them. This is divide and rule, you call it. It doesn't make sense to Granger, and it doesn't make sense to Jack Dale. Right? You will see, when you see the election bell ring, you hear they go, the PPP and Jack Dale, they go in the Indian area and go say, look, you see what happened in Guyana? Do not support the black people. And Granger then will go in the black area and tell them the same thing. You see what happening? If IEDs ever support the Indian, we are in trouble. So why you expect them to? These are the two culprits. Who had been peddling this racism all the time. These are the two parties had been peddling it all the time.
Doc, I have just finished reading the memoirs of Oscar Ramjit, a good friend of yours. And he was talking when he went to be the Solicitor General in Belize. He said he saw this announcement for Guyanese to come together for some activity. When he got there, he only saw a room full of black people. So he asked them where the Indian people were. Them guys said the Indian people were up the street. So he went and he said he had to talk. He said, man, why y'all bring y'all nastiness all the way here to Belize? Black people one side, Indian people another side. He said, man, y'all come. So he took the Indian guys back and they formed a committee. And right around that time, they were going to have an event of a float parade of all the nationalities in Belize, St. Lucian, Dominicans, Jamaicans, and so on. And he said that the Guyanese contingent won the float parade that year because they were able to come together and so on. We even export, the point I'm making is we export our racism.
And you see what happened, Pastor, many people outside don't know the real facts. It's just like many people in the outskirts in Guyana here, where they don't have newspaper going, they don't have television, they don't have radio, they don't know the facts. So when the PPP and the PNC and APNU and so go and tell them something, they accept what these people tell them, right? And the same thing with outside. They go and do the same thing overseas, because many of our people now go on the news, now go on the internet and check out things for themselves. And the same problem we are facing. So I wish that if our people outside, we have so many, about 2 or 3 times of Guyanese outside of Guyana than what we have in Guyana.
Correct.
And if those people can able to try to, I always say that, try to talk about coming together. And it's a shame that in Canada, in United States, millions of people lost their life to bring those countries like what it is, and to provide a real policy for us to follow to develop our life.
Correct.
And they go there and they make themselves millionaire, but they still talk about racism. Indian talk about race, black talk about race. They still talk. It's a shame to know that you go in those countries where you didn't have to do anything, just go and work and develop yourself, because the system is that if you want to become a billionaire, you can work towards that.
Correct.
And this is what the URP wants for Guyana. It must be able to have an equality for every human being in Guyana. Beautiful. We must set a policy that where whatever you want to be in life, you want to be a millionaire, you want to be a billionaire, you must have that opportunity to work toward it. We must be able to have an opportunity to hold 2, 3 jobs if we want to hold a job.
Correct.
But we can do it. But the only way we can do it is try to come together. Try to get rid of all these crimes and all these things. And if we keep ourselves busy, we wouldn't have so much crime in Guyana, because we don't have time for that.
It's just
Now,
employment.
now, because of what's happening in Guyana today, we're getting more and more crime pastor, because people doesn't have money to feed their family. And when you have children, you will do anything in this world to provide a meal for them, because it's your responsibility. You're the one who brought them in this world. So this is why so much crime going on. Besides that, suicidal is rampant in Guyana. Why? Because people had believed in the coalition government. Many of them go and take loan, buy tractors, buy combine, buy this, buy that, because they was promised $9,000 back for paddy. And they bought all these things, and when the government come in and they change the tone of what they used to tell the people, the tune that they will give them 9,000, president said, this is private industry, you all have to get your own market and things like that. Now you left the people hanging. Now they can't even get $2,000 back for their paddy. So what do you think happened? Those people can't afford to pay their mortgage to the bank anymore. So the bank will seize their property. They have nothing. They used to have something, but because of following this administration, they thought they will be far better off, and they go and they do what they have to do. Now they're left stranded. So what the person say, look, I have nothing more in my life. They take a dose poison.
Wow.
And they're gone. Or they throw a rope on the roof and they hang themselves. And this is what's happening all over Guyana. Wow. It's a situation that our government create causing these things.
Doc, we out of time. Take 10 seconds, look in the camera, and address your listeners.
Yes, my fellow Guyanese, I'm appealing to you. Please, let us not look at race. Let us look at ourselves as Guyanese. And let us work hand in hand. Work as one family to build this beautiful land of ours, Guyana. I thank you. God bless you. I love you.
Beautiful. Thank you for your time. The focus of this program is to bring the races together. to develop Guyana. We have no ulterior motive. We want to help Guyana. And if you want to help Guyana, we need your help. Thanks for listening. Thanks for joining. Same time next week, this same station. God bless you. Visit us on our website, www.urpguyana.com, or our Facebook page, URP Guyana. Until next week, God bless you real good. Bye-bye. New Vision.